Welcome to Econo Chat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. It is a wonderful day indeed. Summer is back. Even though spring, but yeah, in Namibia it is also summer. So welcome to this lovely talk, and I am interested to know what we will be talking about today. Mr. Daniel Steinman, welcome.
Thank you, Elsevier. Very nice to be here. The public holiday shot us a little bit in the foot, but I'm sure we will survive that, and our listeners are also very glad that we're back. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about something today. I have to interrupt myself. I have to remind you that in Namibia we don't have spring.
Yeah, we don't.
We go from midwinter to midsummer in 1 week.
We don't. So what is the talk about today?
It's so-called PSCE, Private Sector Credit Extension. And you and I, we've talked about this in the past. And I think if we look 2 or 3 years ago, the only thing that you can say about private sector credit extension is that it was dismal. They basically, for a long time after COVID, the growth in credit was very close to zero. So keep this in mind. It's very important to understand the implication of what I'm going to say later on. So if you look at the private sector statistics, or the private sector credit statistics, it's very easy to fail to recognize what they are telling you. But they send out very strong signals about the economy. You just need to know how to dissect the picture that they present.
Yeah.
And the reason why I want to talk about it is when I read the monthly report that is produced by IJG at the beginning of this month. Now remember, at the beginning of September, we get the statistics for July. It's always 1 month delayed. So the private sector credit extension in July was more or less the same as in June. And IJG was very, very good with the statistics agency, saying that it held steady. I had to chuckle when I read that, because it is such an understatement. If you look at what private sector credit has been doing over the last 8 years. And I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go a bit into history in the second part of our conversation, and then in the final part, and this is why everybody must stay tuned to what we're saying, I'm going to sort of clarify, explain the hidden message that I detect there in the statistics that I don't hear. I listen to a whole bunch of economists, and I don't find that anybody realizes what we are being told by these statistics. But the important thing for our introduction is to remember that PSCE stands for Private Sector Credit Extension. So that extension implies that it is growth. So it is not the total outstanding debt in the economy. It is by how much more it has grown in the past month. And just like inflation, we measure it every month, and we compare it to the immediately preceding month. So we call that month-on-month growth. It's usually very small. It's 0.8, 0.9. It's less than 1%, the month-on-month growth. And we compare it also to the same month 12 months ago, and that's what we call monthly year-on-year. So the figure, the headline figure is the one that we always see. It was 3% or 2%, or immediately after COVID, almost slightly less than 1%. So it showed you very clearly, very definitely, that what happened in 2017, 18 and 19, the 3 recessionary years before COVID, and then in 20, 21 and 22, the COVID year and the 2 years after that. You can't escape, or the economy cannot escape, the impact of these 2 major events in the bigger economy, and it is clearly reflected in the PSCE statistics. The other thing that I think is very important is that you have to remember that private sector credit is an indication of business confidence. You know, if companies are confident that their projects will fly, they go to the bank, they borrow, they invest. Whether they see the returns in the first financial year or only 2 or 3 or 4 years later, that's irrelevant. They have their own time frame, their own window, which they apply to estimate the rate of success that they hope to achieve with their new project. You know, and people always ask me, yeah, you're talking very abstract, very philosophical. What does it mean? You know, very, very good practical example. The super farm at IMAP super farm, the new dairy production unit of Oltava and List at Marienthal. You know, they have made projections for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. So it means that that investment is probably not yet profitable, but it is sustainable. It will grow and grow and grow and become better and better and better, and eventually it will be profitable, and it will be